So I run into my bedroom, like it's completely dark, right? I run into my bedroom, slide under my bed, fucking get the phone, and I hear the guy walking towards me from the other room. And I can hear him whispering, and I'm like, this is so fucked up. Am I really going to die right now? And I dial 911, right? Say, there's a guy in my house. He's trying to kill me. There's a guy in my fucking house. He's trying to kill me. Please come here. This is Justin Furstenfeld. You know, I sing for Blue October. Like, that's going to fucking help me. Like, they're going to go, oh, we better get there quick because it's the lead singer of Blue October. Fucking A.
Holics.com, in partnership with Heartsupport and the Global Recovery Initiatives Foundation, is proud to present High Notes, a podcast about addiction and recovery in the music industry. I'm your host, James Shotwell. My guest this episode is Justin Furstenfeld, the lead vocalist and founding member of Blue October, an American rock band from Houston, Texas that found mainstream success in the early 2000s with their single, Hate Me, and who also continues to tour and release music to this day. Justin's relationship with drugs and alcohol predates his time in the music industry, but as you'll hear him explain, it wasn't until Blue October found mainstream success that he really began to lose control of his addiction. Before 2010, Justin found himself in rehab, and it was the kind of decision he had to make, not just to save his career, but to save his family and the relationships that he had with those who care about him. Since that time, Justin has made his life about helping other people. Whether it's writing songs with Blue October about facing and overcoming obstacles, or putting on a one-man show where he shares his personal journey with addiction, Justin is constantly trying to help other people caught in the struggle, and that's what makes him a perfect guest for High Notes. But when I get him on the phone to talk about all this, the drugs, the music, and how they all intertwine, the very first thing he wants to do is tell me a story about one of his darkest days.
One of the best stories that I've got that just shows you how fucked up drugs can take you. Like, when you first start doing drugs, you know, you think it's to help you be proactive. And I loved speed, you know. I was a speed freak. I loved meth. I loved speed. I loved cocaine, but I loved meth most because there was no come down until like a day later. It's the white trash drug of America, you know, and I was so white trash. And I remember I'd been up for, I don't know, weeks, and I remember getting these texts on my phone saying that for weeks had been following me, you know, and threatening to kill me. He was throwing firecrackers in my backyard and texting me saying, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to shoot you, you know, and throwing firecrackers in my backyard, right? So I'm freaking out. Plus I'm on drugs, right? And there's this guy that's just obsessed with me, right? It's just fucking obsessed with me. And I don't get it. I could go to Target and on drugs, and I used to love to go to like Walmart at like 3 a.m. and just buy all this kind of shit, you know, and high as fuck, right? I was just white trash. It was crazy. And I would come out and I'd get these texts, and then it would say on the text, you know, did you just buy a bunch of blah, 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 and blah, 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 right? And I would just be like, how the fuck did you? And I'd be so sketched out because the guy was literally following me now. It goes on for months, right? Get any sleep, so I'm already freaking out. I think I see police in the fucking trees at night, you know, and I just keep doing this drugs, and I keep getting these texts from these guys, and I keep seeing this fucking guy text me. I'm in a black car, and I keep seeing this black car circling my house, you know. Not only am I super duper high, and I'm out of Xanax to bring me back down, so that this guy has finally found out where I live, and he's gonna fucking come kill me. And now he's throwing fireworks in the backyard and saying it's a gun, and I'm freaking the fuck out, right? So I decide, you know, one night that I would sneak out and go drinking, and, you know, and I'm super lit, and I go drinking, and I come back home, and it's around like 1 a.m. And I come in the house, and it's completely dark, right? And I put my wallet down, and I do some more drugs, and next thing you know, I hear the fucking window break in the other room, and the window opens, and it closes, and I can hear the alarm go beep, 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 and I can hear someone climbing through the fucking window, right? And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This guy is literally coming to kill me now. And I know it's him. I know it's him because I can hear the fucking pants sliding through the window, right? And I can hear his loud ass, and I'm thinking, does he not know that I can hear him? And I'm scared shitless. My blood just boils. I've been getting texts from this guy for months saying he's going to blow my head off like John Lennon, right? Like, he's just going to blow my fucking head off. And then I'm just thinking, oh my God, this is so fucked up. So I run into my bedroom, like it's completely dark, right? I run into my bedroom, slide under my bed, fucking get the phone, and I hear the guy walking towards me from the other room. And I can hear him whispering, and I'm like, this is so fucked up. Am I really going to die right now? And I dial 911, right? Say, there's a guy in my house. He's trying to kill me. There's a guy in my fucking house. He's trying to kill me. Please come here. This is Justin Furstenfeld. You know, I sing for Blue October. Like, that's going to fucking help me. Like, they're going to go, oh, we better get there quick because it's the lead singer of Blue October. Fucking A. You know, fucking 3 minutes later, there's cops surrounding my house, busting through the doors, coming through with guns ablazing, right? And I'm under the fucking bed, and I'm like, I'm in here, please help me, and they pull me out, and I get to the backyard, and they make me run all the way down to the street, and they're all surrounded by me going just like, are you okay, where's the guy, and I'm like, he's in the house, and they've got like cops just flooding my house, right, with guns everywhere and flashlights and everything, and they search my whole acreage, and they come back down to me, and they're like, I'm like, did you find him? And they're like, there is nobody in your fucking house, dude. There is absolutely no one in your house. Nobody broke in. Your fucking window has been shut the whole time. You are tripping balls or something, bro. No one is in there. And I said, well, look at my phone. Look at my texts. It says it right here. And they're scrolling down my texts, and they're like, there's no texts from this guy that says this. There's nothing here that says this. Like, we don't understand why you called us, but we know who you are. You're Justin from Blue October, and whatever you're fucking doing, you need to chill the fuck out and get some sleep. We're not going to report this. And so I'm standing there like, you're fucking kidding me, right? Like, all of this for a month. For a fucking month, I was just so tweaked out that I thought somebody was following me. I thought this guy was out to get me. I thought I was going to die. I thought the car outside. I thought the people in the trees were real. They were planning it for him. I thought when I went to Walmart that he texted me what I got. That was just my mind making it up. But the whole fucking thing, I called the cops on myself when I had a pile of meth sitting in the bathroom. And if they just would have opened the bathroom cabinet, they would have seen a huge pile of methamphetamine, and I would have gone to jail. I called the cops on myself. Like, what a dumbass.
That's pretty insane.
It's pretty fucking stupid, dude. You can say it. Like, that's the power of drugs and addiction. You are so out of your fucking mind. It's so crazy. I think about it now. Like, why in the world would I put myself through all that? And all of that, I truly thought someone was out to get me. I truly did. I think about it now, and I'm like, how the fuck did you see those texts? How the fuck did you do that? Like, you're so delirious that you just imagine things, and you just put them in your life, you know? And it's so weird. But that's probably the closest I came to being arrested and insanity. Now, I've put other people in jeopardy, like people that I won't even mention, in situations that I'd put in serious jeopardy, you know. But that's the story that I always like to tell people when they come to their first AA meeting or NA meeting, and they think, I don't need to get clean. I just love meth. And then I tell them that whole story just like that, and they're like, wait. I'm like, yeah, my stupid ass called fucking 911 and said somebody was trying to murder me, and it was just all in my brain. It's just dumb. Now I think about it and I laugh my ass off.
Isn't it wild how your brain holds that?
Like, it's crazy because for the first, and let me tell you this, you know how fucked up, for the first 3 years of my sobriety, James, the first 3 years of my sobriety, I still thought, and I still told people that somebody was trying to kill me and that somebody was in my house, even though the cops told me that I wasn't. So that's how fucked up meth does to your brain. I believed, even when they left, that no. That motherfucker's real. He's here. It took me 6-7 years of my sobriety to finally go, no, Justin, you stupid fuck. There was nobody. You did that, homie. That was you. Like half the shit that was in your life that was dramatic, you made that shit up. Because all you did was sit around and snort meth and smoke meth and fucking stare at your phone and write things on the computer and sit on Facebook, and someone probably said something that freaked you out a little bit, and then you took it to another level, bro. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I do remember those cops, though, staring there at my phone going, this is bullshit. There's nothing in your phone that says anything like that. And I'm going, but now I can laugh about it, which is cool. Because what else am I going to do? Fucking cry about it?
Yeah. That is the kind of story Justin Furstenfeld shares on a regular basis. And if you don't know him personally, you can hear more by finding the Blue October documentary that was released earlier this year. The film tracks Justin's journey from addiction to recovery and how it almost broke up Blue October. And I wanted to know, did sharing those stories in a film help Justin feel better about his past experiences? And why did he choose to share them when so many people might shy away from their past behavior?
Oh, yeah. Like, the documentary was more of an insurance plan on me staying sober, like, because I knew that if I put cameras on me, I wouldn't want to fail on camera, because then what a tragic end to the fucking documentary, right? Like, oh, Bill Justin, lead singer, badass, gets sober, and a month later he relapses on camera. What a loser. You know, I'm not going to do that. No. You know, and I'd rather be like, let's keep it going. And I just started liking myself again. And that's the story of the documentary, is just how recovery and sobriety really makes you think less of yourself and more about the world around you and what you can do to make it brighter. And I truly love that aspect of sobriety. And I love making people laugh these days. Like, I could give a fuck less if I've got a booger hanging out of my nose. If I got to do it to fucking make someone laugh, I just want to make them laugh, you know. That story always makes me laugh, of how I called the cops on myself. Well, you believed for a second that somebody was out to get me, right? When I'm telling the story, you believed it, right? Somebody's there. They're going to get me, right? I'm getting a text. I'm telling you. And you're like, yeah, dude, this guy's fucked up. And he's on that? Wow, what a fuck that. Then you realize, oh, it's all him, you stupid idiot. You know, it's just fucking hilarious. But that's the epitome of what drugs do to you. They just make you dumb. It's like poison. That's what I always tell people. Like, drugs are not great. It's just like literal, like putting rat poison in your brain and liking the effects of it for a second, and then it just burns holes in you. It makes you stupid.
It is incredibly rare to find an addict who got into hard drugs out of the blue. Many people will try drinking or smoking weed over the course of their lives, but very, very few ever wake up stone sober and think to themselves, today is the day I try heroin. And Justin's journey, while we all know where it led, did not begin with hard drugs. It was the culmination of many decisions, behaviors, and actions in his life that set him on a course he never saw coming.
I would say it started when I started like cutting on myself when I was like 12 and 13 years old, because it was like a euphoria with burning my skin, like burning little crosses into my skin. And I was always depressed, and it was just like this euphoria of like this high of like the pain, the physical pain, because I knew that was the worst pain and nothing could get worse than that. So nobody could break my heart. What a little baby. Oh my God, he's crying. You know, that bullshit. And then when I started smoking weed and taking acid, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. I can expand my mind. And plus I grew up on people like Basquiat and Andy Warhol and Shannon Hoon of Blind Melon and Nirvana and fucking Joy Division and all these people that were maniacs on drugs, but brilliant as artists. And I wanted to be them so bad. So I always just said, hey, man, as long as I make it to year 27, I'm good. Because that's the year all of them die, right? That's the lucky number.
Justin is referring to the infamous 27 Club. That is a collection of musicians and artists who died at the age of 27. And when you look at the list, it's pretty wild to think about. Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, Brian Jones, and far more recently, Amy Winehouse, all died at the age of 27, and they all died as a result of their addictions. Justin never thought he would be one of them, but he thought if he could make it further than they did, he would be okay.
And so I made it past 27. And now I'm 44, and I'm clean and sober, and I'm fucking look better and feel better than I've ever felt, you know. But it started with weed and acid and thin ecstasy, and then coke, and then couldn't stop doing coke, man. I couldn't stop doing coke when I was like 17, 18, and I first tried coke. Man, I did that for years. But then the first time I smoked meth, wow. So I was doing meth off and on for like 14 years. Then towards the end, I couldn't stop doing it. I couldn't go 4 hours without doing it.
Now, you have a brother. Did Jeremy go through the same addiction as you did? Did he have these same problems?
He's the drummer of our band. He was kind of always the responsible one, I guess.
How far different are you guys in ages?
Just a year, 14 months.
So he was president. So I imagine that at some point he was kind of your keeper in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, he was, and that took a toll on our relationship because he was the guy that always had to make sure that I was alive in the hotel rooms. He was the guy that always had to make sure that I had my shit together enough to get on stage. Because we're not going to get paid if I don't show up, you know. He's the guy that had to make sure that I got to the gig all right. And he was basically my fucking babysitter, and I'm surprised he likes me, you know. But it took a lot of years of amends and apologies and living up to my word and living sober and bringing the business back to where it is now so people can make money and make a living again, because I almost ran the business into the ground with my sob story ass shit. So there's only so long so many people want to watch you circle a drain before they tell you to shut the fuck up, you whiny bitch, you know.
What were hard drugs part of your life prior to Blue October? I mean, you were pretty young when the band first started.
Oh yeah, I was hard drugs started when I was probably right at the beginning of Blue October. All right, well, before the beginning, so probably 3 or 4 years before Blue October. Blue October's been Blue October for, I say I did hard drugs, you know. Acid was hard drugs for me. Acid and X and Coke, you know, probably 16, 17 years old. Yeah, you know, and then just couldn't stop doing them because I loved them so much.
2006 was a big year for Blue October. After 11 years together, the band had 2 back-to-back platinum singles. One was titled Into the Ocean, and the other, Hate Me. Here's an acoustic version of Hate Me, which Justin performed a few years back for a radio station.
Leaving babies in my bed, dropping little reels of tape to remind me that I'm alone, playing movies in my head that make a porno feel like home. There's a burning in my pride, a nervous bleeding in my brain. An ounce of peace is all I want for you. Will you never call again? And never say that you loved me just to put it in my face. And never try to reach me, it is I that wanted space. Hate me today, hate me tomorrow, hate me so you can finally see what's good for you.
The vast majority of musicians will spend their entire career trying to write one really good song that connects with people. And in 2006, when Blue October was a decade into their career, the band did it twice with one record. Into the Ocean and Hate Me come from the same album, and they convinced over 1 million people to buy each song. That feat is virtually unheard of in the world of rock and roll. It's like winning the lottery twice in 1 year, and it helped the band ascend through the rock hierarchy in a way that very few groups ever accomplish. So I wanted to know, how did that success change Justin's relationship with drugs?
Oh, it was great because I got everything for free and I had money to get a bunch of it. And I was a bigger boy. Like, I was thicker. I was kind of really overweight. So when I got a hold of meth, the label looked at me and said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because you're skinny. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just keep getting meth. You know? So if you watch videos like Say It or Dirt Room, I'm super fucking skinny. Super fucking skinny because I was just doing shitloads of meth. But if you look at like Into the Ocean and Hate Me, it was more in my weekdays.
When you got to the point of doing meth, was there ever a point in this escalation of habitual behavior where you were like, I don't know about that one? Was there ever like where you kind of drew a line in the sand and then eventually crossed over it, or was it always just like, I mean, I'll try anything once?
Yeah, that's it. I thought I was invincible, and yeah, I'll try anything at once. I think right before everybody sent me to rehab, I'd just given someone $60 to my yard guy. I gave him $60 to go get me a syringe with some heroin in it from Austin, and he just never came back. So I was just waiting for this guy to show up at my house with the next step. Thank God my wife was put in the way, and the guys in the band, they gave me an intervention to go to rehab. And when I got back from rehab, I was cleaning up the yard, right, taking a walk with my big chubby ass. And I found a fucking syringe sitting right there from the yard guy. So I knew right then that yard guy had been sitting outside just shooting dope, when he did my yard back in the day. But he was also my weed guy. So I finally just said, do you know where to get anything stronger than weed? Because I was out of meth. He said, yeah, I can get you some H. And just give me 60 to 80 bucks. I gave him $60. And he never came back. Thank God,
Justin's story about narrowly avoiding heroin is not uncommon in the world of addiction. Most addicts have escalating behavior in the days or weeks or months before they decide to get clean. And as Justin just said, there was an intervention that changed everything. But what else was happening in Justin's life right before the intervention?
Yeah, it was ramping up because it was me not being able to sing on stage, me passing out on stage, my motor skills were gone. When you do so much meth, your motor skills are gone and you have little tics and seizures, so I couldn't stay still. I just couldn't function as a normal human being. Couldn't drive a car. Couldn't go in a plane without shoving meth up my ass. Going through TWA, is that what it is? So it was pretty bad. TSA, whatever. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
With that answer, we need to focus on the intervention, which for Justin came as a complete surprise.
Oh yeah, they surprised me. Yeah, they surprised me one morning at like 6 a.m. And I came in the living room and they were all sitting there and they all sat around and read me letters. And then I remember I just kind of blacked out. I don't remember going to the airport. I don't remember flying. I just remember showing up at this rehab in Nashville with my dad. And then my dad said bye and left. And I stayed there for 3 months.
Was your dad at the intervention as well?
Oh, yeah. Mm. And my dad's a DEA officer, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a fun note earlier in all of this. Was he always a DEA?
Oh, yeah, he's always a cop, and he was a DEA his last 10 years of his career.
Wow, there's a lot of layers to this onion here that we're undoing.
Yeah.
Well, I usually ask people, you're one of the only guests that actually had like a proper intervention, but something I always ask people is for starters, did you fight this idea? Like when they presented it to you, were you like, you guys have a point?
No, I was respectful like I've always been as a young man. When my parents sit me down and say, we're calling your bullshit, I was always respectful of my parents. So I knew that when they caught on and my wife had told them, and shown, my dad came over and he had this little baggie where he poured my crystal meth in it and he squeezed it and broke it apart like cops do when they find it on the road, and it turns a different color. If this is blue, it's meth, right? He did that right in front of me in the kitchen. And he was like, yep, you're a fucking junkie. And that's when I knew. I was like, well, it's up. But I promise I'll never do it again. And then I went in the bathroom and did the last bit of it. I was like a fucking liar. I'm just a big liar. That's what I was. I was with a counselor at the rehab. I told the counselor that everybody was stealing money from me, and that's why I was there, because everyone in the band and everyone in the management just were all stealing money from my account. And he just sat back and laughed. He said, boy, that meth really fucked you up, didn't it? That's the first conversation I had with people. They're all just fucking, they're all going to steal from me. They're all stealing money from me. What the fuck? Oh, so awful.
When Justin found himself in rehab, one of the first things that really helped him take stock of his life and the decisions that he'd made came from an unlikely place: meditation.
Yeah, every morning they made you meditate at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. They made you sit with your thoughts for an hour, which was nice after a while, but when you come down some serious Subutex and medication that makes you feel like you're walking through tar. It's pretty eye-opening, pretty self-aware of all the things that you've done, and it all kind of hits you in the face. And you just kind of come to Jesus really quick and realize it's time to man up. You're not a little baby anymore. You have a family that needs you. It's a very spiritual place, too. It was really nice.
The rehabilitation process is different for everyone. While some people may submit immediately and begin to change their lives, other people kick and scream, and still others, like Justin, take months to realize the weight of their decisions and how they got to be where they are.
I didn't really get the extent of my problem until they moved me out of the rehab and put me in a sober living house, like a halfway house. And then I realized, wow, this is how it is on the outside world. You can go to the grocery store, but you can't meet the guy in the parking lot with the meth. You got to go buy things like bread. You can make your bed, but you can't do lines off of it with a mirror. You know, like, you got to brush your teeth, and that's going to have to be good enough.
Getting clean is never easy, and Justin's journey was certainly no exception. But as he explains, he wouldn't trade his sobriety for the world.
Oh, it was at first, it was like, this sucks so much. But then when you get out and you see miracles start to happen, like kids being born, relationships mending, songs being written that are better than any song you've ever written before, then you're like, oh, now I get it. Okay, yeah, I can do this, And then you start being a badass, and you start shedding weight. You stop drinking, so no endless calories, no hangovers. So you wake up in the morning, you go jogging. Then you start seeing that, wow, you've lost 110 pounds. And you look great, and you feel great. And now people are starting to come to your shows again to hear about positive stuff, to hear about how great life is. Now you're meeting all these amazing people that you burned bridges with before. Now you started your own record label. Now you're making money as a record executive. Now you're with a new agent. You're with a new management. Your family is even better. Now you get to see your daughter that they wouldn't let you see you anymore. It just keeps getting fucking better. Every fucking day, it just keeps getting better. And you're less and less of a little bitch. Every day you stay sober. And then you finally just no longer a bitch. You're a man. And people look up to you, and you look up to people, and you enjoy everyone's company. And you pray for people that are still in that spot that are just negative little bitches. You pray for them, but you don't give them a time of day because it just makes you sick all over. And you don't take in the drama anymore because you don't need it. And you just live life happy and peaceful and beautiful. And now the most exciting thing in your life is making love to your wife, or going to the beach in the rain and standing there and smelling what it smells like at the beach, And that's enough, because it's fucking awesome, You don't lock yourself in a room anymore and put poison in your brain to feel something. You actually feel, and you're there for other people, and you can be a friend, and you can be a son and a father and a brother and a bandmate and a partner and a CEO of a fucking record label. What the fuck is that all about, Just wouldn't have happened without people that got me sober. So
Justin has clearly found reasons to remain sober, and it's great to know that he's on the mend. But I'm curious as to whether or not he still feels cravings, or when the last time he was truly tempted by his past life.
I have cravings every now and then, but the last time I was tempted was I was playing a show 2 years into my sobriety, right? On New Year's Eve, and I was in El Paso, which is right on the border of Mexico, right? And I'm staying at this Holiday Inn, and everybody else stayed at the club, and we're partying. I went to the Holiday Inn, and I'm sitting in the lobby, about to go outside and have a cigarette, and this guy comes up to me, and he goes, "Dude, you want to party?" And I said, "What kind of party?" And he goes, that ice, that speed, that crank. And I said, "Fuck yeah, I want to party." And he goes, "My dude's going to be here any minute. He's got the best shit straight from Mexico." And I said, "Oh my God." And then all of a sudden I felt like I was going to shit myself, right? And I was like, "Oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing?" And so I said, "Come with me." And I walked this guy to the ATM machine, right? Put my ATM card in, pulled out $400 because that's how much I usually pulled out when I got, because that's just what I was used to, right? It was weird. Pulled out $400, gave it to him. And I said, "Be careful, man. I'm not going to party with you, but that's for you." And I didn't understand why I did it, almost like to leave me the fuck alone. But I was so close. I just wanted to so bad, but I didn't. I just gave him $400 instead. So it felt like I did something, Cravings are, I'm bored. And like earlier today, I went to the liquor store for my wife because she needed some beer. And I'm the only one brave enough to go down there with all this coronavirus stuff. And I wanted to get her some beer because she's been stressed. So I went down there and I fucking got her some beer. And I was like, God damn, I wish I could have a fucking great glass of red Cabernet and a big fucking line of meth. Wow, that'd be great. And then I said, but I'm not going to. You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
That's amazing. It starts off so normal. You're like, yeah, a glass of wine. What's so bad? Oh, nope. Already got to pull it back. Got to pull it back real fast. Yeah. We'll just chase it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh God, I can taste it. And my mouth starts salivating, and I need to take a shit. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, okay, yeah, this is dark. I need to do something else.
So when you do have when you have moments of temptation or cravings, what is the thing that pulls you out of it mentally? Are you thinking about all these good things that have come out about it, or is it a specific behavior that you've kind of made a part of your life? What is the thing that keeps you sober?
My kids. That's it mainly. And I've come so far. I've come so damn far that, yeah.
One thing we've learned throughout this season is that people in recovery shy away from giving advice. When you advise someone, you're inferring that you know the answer, that you understand where they came from or what they're going through and what they need to do to make things better in the future, and that's rarely the case. So instead, people in recovery often make suggestions.
I say there is a solution and there is a way out. You don't ever have to drink or do drugs ever again if you want it bad enough.
Good.
That's what I say.
That's short and sweet. I like it.
And then they go, well, how do I do it? And I say, it's right there for your reach. You just gotta. And then if people are like 2 weeks into sobriety, I always like to tell them, well, don't be a little bitch. And they go, what do you mean? I was like, don't fucking be a little bitch. That's all I'm saying. Just stay that way. Stay good. Don't go back to being a little bitch. Because that's what kept me sober. Every time I wanted to go back to doing meth, I said, don't be a fucking bitch.
I love talking to Justin about his journey because he's brutally honest. He says things in a way that no one else does, and it always strikes a chord with me, and I hope it did for you as well. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please seek help. Whether you reach out to our partners at Heartsupport and the Global Recovery Initiatives Foundation, or you go to a meeting, whatever the case, please get help. Everyone here at High Notes is rooting for you, and we're available to talk if you need us. As always, my name is James Shotwell. High Notes is brought to you by Holics.com, and it's produced and edited by Landon Defever. The theme song was written by the band You, Me, and Everyone We Know, and the artwork was created by the great Nick Ferran. You can find High Notes on all social media platforms, as well as by visiting highnotespod.com. We have more episodes coming, so please stick around. We'd love to have you.